Hello, and welcome to Adler Graduate School course number 504, Abnormal Psychology. My name is Rocky Garrison, and I'm the teacher for this course. I hope to be your guide through the woods of abnormal psychology. This talk goes over the goals of the course and gives you an overview of the organization for this course. Before we get started, make sure you've read the syllabus as well as the online confidentiality, copyright, and attendance policies. There is a place for you to check that you agree to these policies. Also, be sure to post an introduction on the forum for introductions and update your profile for the course page. In this course, we will be exploring the DSM and ICD categorical approach to human distress as the foundation for a diagnostic case formulation, which is a description of a person's current difficulties and functioning, as well as hypotheses about the ways these difficulties are maintained and perpetuated. The DSM approach strives to define reliable categories or diagnoses, and then use these categories to research and understand commonalities, themes, and treatment strategies. Diagnostic categories are somewhere in the middle of a continuum that ranges from universal human traits at one end and unique characteristics of each person at the other end. Diagnostic categories are one of the ways that a person is like some people and different from some other people. I want to emphasize that this DSM categorical approach and focus on symptoms has strengths and weaknesses. It is certainly not the only approach to understanding and treating human distress. As a developing professional, you need to make decisions about how much you are going to draw on this approach in your treatment planning and implementation, and how much you are going to draw on other approaches. There is a series of lectures on case formulation to help you in this process. The syllabus defines 4 goals for this course. The first goal is for you to be able to use the current diagnostic classification systems, DSM-5 and ICD-10. You will learn how to collect the information needed to make a diagnosis and develop your differential diagnostic reasoning skills. While distinct categories are essential for research, they are not always so useful in the clinical task of understanding a person, and many of the diagnoses are thought of as continuums or spectrums, with the person located somewhere on the range between one end and the other. As we will see, many of the diagnoses include a way to indicate this severity level. The second goal is for you to be able to use 2 assessment instruments for diagnostic assessment purposes: the Level 1 Symptom Measure and the World Health Organization Disability Assessment Scale, which examines 6 domains of functioning regardless of the diagnosis or diagnoses the person has. The third goal of this course is for you to be able to conduct the Cultural Formulation Interview from DSM-5, which is a semi-structured interview designed for use as a part of an initial assessment interview. We will be using the supplementary modules as a foundation for the personal reflections exercises through this course. The fourth goal is for you to integrate these various components, the diagnosis, the assessments, and the cultural formulation interview, into a diagnostic formulation, which is typically included in an initial assessment report. This is an overview of the assignments for this course. In each unit after the first one, you will complete a personal reflection using the CFI supplementary modules as a guide. We will focus on the case of Veronica from the Morrison text in units 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 different cases for the rest of the course. There are 2 conceptual forums, one in Unit 5 and one in Unit 1. The special project for this course is to conduct a diagnostic interview with a friend or colleague and write an initial assessment report presenting your findings. I take a closer look at each of these assignments in another talk on the course page. In each unit, there is a talk on one aspect of the case formulation process. There is a talk in each unit by a prominent Buddhist practitioner. These run about an hour in length. These will be especially relevant for you if you are adopting the acceptance and commitment therapy theoretical orientation. I have found the language they use to describe human distress to be especially useful in presenting my case formulation to clients. For many of the diagnoses, there is an additional reading. I have strived to identify a recent review article for the topic in that article. This is how I would encourage you to sequence your work for each unit. First, read the case study for the unit. This puts a face on the diagnostic category and sets up to develop the case analysis and measure exercise. Next, look over the cultural formulation interview questions to give you time to reflect on the topic and form your personal reflection paper. Then print and review the vocabulary sheet and listen to my talks for the unit. Reflect back on the case, especially as you listen to the talk on the disorder for the unit. Next, look at the update bulletins and the readings from the DSM-5 and ICD-10. Use the case to focus on relevant decision tree and specific diagnostic criteria, the additional information, and the specifiers that are available for some of the diagnoses. For each diagnostic chapter, I suggest you go first through the chapter and read just the diagnostic criteria for each of the diagnoses that are in the chapter. Next, look at the items on the Level 1 measure for the diagnosis if there is one. Then go back to the DSM-5 and read the text associated with each diagnosis in the chapters as you work on the case analysis.